Yo, y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy Mo 804.
Hey, girl, Divine Earth with 1E.
Man, we just want to definitely slide through and shout out everybody who've been commenting, sharing, and just posting our most recent video, or I should say our video in regards to purchasing our truck. We're not actually in it as we speak, like right now. It's still in the process of getting the Qualcomm installs and some of the little particular stuff that's needed to get it, I guess, customer and road ready. So we went ahead and jumped back out on the road. Gonna get back to the crib, take some time off, kick it with the family, and enjoy that whole time off element. And definitely go get Chippy, man, because we miss our son like crazy.
Yes.
Like, Chip brought a lot of enjoyment to our day-to-day that I think we may have even taken for granted, to be honest with you. Because
I be seeing him now. I'm like, I miss my baby.
yeah, so we gotta go get our Chippy, man. That's duty one. That's job one.
And then time off.
Oh yeah. You've been taking a lot of time off right now, though, dog.
I have, but not mentally.
All right. Well, I guess now that you said that, we're here to talk about something in regards to mental and the heavy mental that comes with trucking or just comes with separation, period. Because that's really what this lifestyle creates and causes. So, you know,
In
to
so
a lot of
many
people
areas.
that's dealing with, I guess, that element or elements similar to it. You know, you say you woke up this morning with a thought or just an overall vibe. What was that? Let's build with the people.
Yeah, so this morning, you know, I just woke up on my mind. The thoughts that came to me was that growth is a bully.
Say that again.
Growth is a bully.
That's serious.
Now, I know for me personally, it's been bullying me lately for the past 5 or so years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like growth doesn't ask permission. When growth comes, it's pushing you, it's pulling you, it's tugging you, it's stretching you. It's allowing for obstacles and challenges, and it's saying you gotta grow.
Kicking the door, waving the 4-4.
Right.
You know what I mean? All you heard was growth. Don't hit me no more. You know what I mean?
And I've seen the memes, and I've seen the quotes, and I've heard people say it, and beautiful posts. You know, people say, you know, always growing. Growth. I'm on this growth period right now, or just, you know, forever growing. Even I've done it. But truthfully, there are places and spaces within all of us that we don't want to change. We don't want to change. And I've personally been dealing with that. Man, I've dealt with it a lot with this one right here. Because growth shows up in things like, you know, fear and doubt, second guessing yourself, questioning, you know, even if you're worthy at times, or deserving, you know. Growth comes and says, this is not enough. I demand more of you. I demand it, not asking. Like, I demand it. And let me tell you, you know how bullies are. You know how bullies are. They follow you. They hit you, push you, punch you, talk about you, make you feel like nothing. And the only way you can get a bully to go away is to face it.
Punch him in the mouth.
Head on.
Punch him in the mouth.
Regardless of how big they are or how huge the challenge is, what it looks like, you gotta face it. You gotta face it. I know for myself, like, I have a lot of areas that I never looked at it being growth because I just thought it was me. And sometimes growth can come in disguising thoughts that tell you, I've always been this way. This just me. This how I do it. I don't change. That's a big one. Forever the same. And I think there's a fine line with that, because sometimes growth does bully us in places that we believe are supposed to remain the same, and they're not. They're not. And then also too, growth elevates you and separates you. It isolates you from what's familiar to you. And I've experienced that. I've experienced growing in certain areas within myself and feeling a separation or a disconnect from the people that I love, you know, and not knowing how to deal with it, almost finding myself shrugging back down to these places that I had grown from. And I had to question, like, what's going on here? You had elevated out of this thing. You weren't doing this anymore. You were on something different. Now you back over here with this because it's familiar. And growth sometimes can make you, it carries you through these emotions. That's what I woke up with this morning.
Well, because not to cut you off, it makes you want to hide from the bully.
Yes.
It's certain blocks, it's certain travels, it's certain walks of life that we all travel on a consistent basis. But in high school, you knew the hallway where the bully was. You knew what period you was going to see that individual. Now, I ain't calling you no punk. I ain't saying you had to be scared. But there's a certain type of person that's willing to fight every day for nothing.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying you can't get out here and fight every day, because every day is a fight. Every day is a grind. Every day you need to put forth, your best effort and give it all you got.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. But there's something psychologically wrong with individuals that want to live and breathe in chaotic situations.
All the time.
That transfer their discomforts, their hatred to themselves on you. You know that neighborhood where them certain group of guys, those certain group of girls are, that you try to avoid just because, man, I ain't trying to deal with that. So them not the bullies or the fights that I'm talking about. But at the same time, you recognize that invisible bully that challenges you every day to be greater. You can hide from it and run from it and roll up and blow and ignore it and or hit your line or whatever you're going to do as an element of escapism.
Your numbing techniques.
You can do a lot of things to run away from it.
Say a command.
But the science is, it's still there.
Right.
That bully is never going anywhere. Because that bully is just for you.
I got a testimony to
There's
that
certain
right now.
bullies that will kind of bully a little bit of everybody. There's certain bullies that are kind of, deal with a certain group of people. You know what I mean? But this bully is all for you. Nobody else sees it. You're the only one that recognizes it. It's just for you. It's perfectly crafted, perfectly put together, just for you. And it knows where you at all the time.
Right.
And it's going to force you constantly, day in and day out, to be better. And like you said, sometimes people don't want to grow. You want to stay just the way it is. You want things to stay just the way they are. Because it's comfortable. Oh.
It's comfortable.
And who doesn't want to be in comfort? Who doesn't want to sit in that bathtub of hot bubbly water and rose petals and sweet candles and soft music playing, getting the back rub and being fed grapes like my boy Nino Brown? Like, who don't want that? But is that life? Is that real reality? Or is that just a small moment of time?
Well, I think it's very deceptive because, in all honesty, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. I'm sitting here while you're talking, and I'm thinking about before we got married. I moved a lot. And I could sit here and say it was because I was struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, or whatever the case may be. But truth be told, since I've grown in that area, I was not a good money manager. I didn't pay my rent on time. I didn't pay my bills on time. And I literally had a bad history when it came to my rental history. So I was always shucking and jiving and doing whatever I need to do. You know how we do to have somewhere for me and the kids to live at. Well, because I refused to grow in those areas, I brought that into our marriage. Because he owned this house when I met him. And then, next thing you know, we're in this situation and that bully done hit us again. Because I didn't want to grow in that area and really get to a space where I realized that me being evicted or not paying my bills was my responsibility, that I needed to learn how to manage the money that I had, whether it was living within my means or changing how I was living and what I was doing in order to do better. Okay, instead I wanted to make excuses for why I wasn't doing better instead of rising up and growing that bully. Okay, and devastation came when we lost our home and our land, something we had invested in. But in that bully, because that was a bully, you hear me? That changed our whole life. I learned and he learned how to manage money. I'm 44 years old. And that happened, let me
about
see.
To be 45, so let's get that out there right now.
Yes.
You
That
keep holding on to
happened.
this 44. You got 30 days. And you 45
Yes.
knocking on your door like a
Yes.
bully. So let's stop doing the 44. But go ahead. Continue.
We lost our house actually in 2000, I want to say 13 or 14. It was one of those years. But it was two years prior to getting on the truck and coming out here doing this trucking thing. And that growth that bullied me, which I'm grateful for now, we both grateful, caused me to study and learn about money.
Yeah.
I had to learn the things that I wasn't willing. And like you were saying about being comfortable, I was never comfortable in what was going on, but I was comfortable in not taking those extra steps because it was what everybody else was doing. It was what I was used to doing. You can get conditioned by your environment. I hadn't even realized that. It just got to the point that it was like, okay, you go to work and then, you should be living in this 3-bedroom because you got these kids and this is, this is how you should be living. But my money is saying, hey, you can't afford that. But this is what your mind is telling you instead of saying, hold up, let me flip this thing.
Right.
My money, I need to tell my money what to do and not have my money tell me what to do, because that's what it had been doing. And I wasn't listening.
Because money don't bully you. Money
No.
don't tell you to do anything. Money is an inanimate object that
Right.
just sits there. You control that.
Right. You have to tell your dollars and coins where it's supposed to go every time. My dollars was telling me what to do. They was already spent before I got them. And that had been a problem that I had not grown in for years.
Say a command.
And finally, I know, right? And finally, we grew in that area. It was definitely a devastating thing that happened, but it was like, look where it allowed us to go and get to as of now. Like I be on it, y'all, play around. Like I have my bills and things set up, they come out automatic, But I have like notifications, text messages, emails like 7 and 5 days and 2 weeks ahead of time before bills are due. Just making sure, like I'm like meticulous with it because I've grown in that area.
Because that bully.
But I was bullied with it
You
for
got
years.
it beat in you. You got stripped.
Oh,
like we
yeah.
went from 5 acres in our own home
1,800 square
to
feet.
a small crib in Petersburg, Virginia, that neither one of us wanted to be at, but we made it work because we in that realm we are survivors. You know what I mean? We know how to turn nothing into something, so we made it work.
It was like 800
But we
square.
had to become
square
the
feet.
bully at that point.
It
We
was
had
small,
to make it work because it didn't comfortably fit. We had to force a fit, and you know that's never good.
Force a fit, right? So it's like you can either get uncomfortable or stay comfortably still uncomfortable, because you're not going to be comfortable without growing. You're not.
Challenge yourself.
And when you okay, this is how you can know that a bully is on your back trying to call growth, because you keep hitting it. That
Same
one
wall.
thing, that same wall, whether it's your attitude, your money, a job, you keep getting fired, or relationship stuff. It don't matter whatever it is.
You running in a maze, and you keep running into a wall.
Dealing with the same issue.
Stop telling people I got it. Stop telling people I know what I'm doing. If you need help from anyone and you see people doing what you want to do, ask, man. Eliminate that bully of pride that you got on the inside.
That's a big one.
Speak. At least give yourself a fighting opportunity, because the bully coming.
Yeah, because we come from environments that try to tell us or make us feel weak when we ask people for things, and it needs to change. Like we almost talk about it. I've been there. I'm sure all of us have been there, where you have the family member or the friend or somebody that's always asking you for something, but did you take a few minutes to try to help them, like in another way? Like, okay, you keep coming to ask me for gas money. Maybe you need some help with a new job. Maybe I know somebody might got a new job, or maybe you need some to talk about some other things. You never know, but we don't look at it like that. For the majority, a lot of times we're talking about people that's coming to us and trying to get help, and a lot of times what it does is cause them to shrink and say, I ain't gonna ask nobody for nothing. I was like that. I got to the point that I was frustrated about people questioning me when I needed help. Like, what do you need it for? Or asking me, well, what did you do with your money? Or this, that, and the other. And even though, it was times that I had screwed it up, but it was also a very humbling thing to go to someone and ask, because we've been taught that. We have. Our community, our culture teaches us that, you should be able to do it on your own, when really there's a balance with that.
Just know
there's a balance with that.
Just know that we all internally have what it takes to beat any and every bully we're confronted with.
Oh yes.
So granted, you can turn to many people and ask for help. I'm not saying one way is the end all be all, but you have what it takes to combat whatever your challenge is. Look inside.
Yes.
Find your fight. Put up your dukes and give it all you got. And you just might walk away like Craig.
Right. Let it stretch you. Let it push you. Let it pull you. I mean, all of that, because you need all of that. We need to grow. Nothing should be staying the same. The world don't stay the same. It's always changing. So why are we staying the same?
That's right. So before this joint get too over the top, fight a good fight. Give it your best shot, and you might surprise yourself. We'll add on to these type of videos later. We appreciate all the support. It's your boy Moito4, man.
You heard the man everyone eat.
This is Married to the Miles. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And keep the fight alive, man.
Don't give up.
Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig. We fighting for you. We rooting for you.
Yes.
Holla at y'all, man.
Peace.
Peace.